Oh yeah. All right. So we're gonna pick up where we left off. All right, cool. It's back up. I think I got the right day. Let's finish. All right. William Walter West, Nigel Perez, Elder Basigi Filani, Jim Robinson, Gladys Johnson, Valerie Clark, John and Mary Sullivan, Dirk Johnson, Antonio Johnston, Elise Waters, DeFriedis Hines, Inez Bostic, Edna Bostic, Winifred Scantleberry, Wilson Haley, Elma Hines, Phyllis Lee, Eugene Spratling, Calvin Spratling, Charles Wooden, Penny Brown, Roy Lee Printup Jr., Miriam Johnson, Wilbur Longmire, Edith Catney, Janice Carter, Michael Carter, Leon Peanut Carter, Margaret Carter, William Carter, Lisa Jordan, Charles Lee Mosley, Dorothy R. Blair, Ransom Evans Sr., Sam Evans Sr., Nayland Blair Sr., Edward Stevens, Sue Ann Stevens, Joe Davis, Timothy Butler. Good grief. Where we at? Timothy Butler. Hold on, before I even jump into that, I want to make sure we're back up. Are we up? I need to refresh that stream. So I think it let me continue the same. Make sure everything is straight. All right. So I'm gonna start at where we at? Are we streaming? All right, it appears we are back up. I'm not going to send out another text. That's going to finish. And we stopped at Edith Catney, Janice Carter, Michael Carter, Leon Peanut Carter, Margaret Carter, William Carter, Lisa Jordan, Charles Lee Mosley, Dorothy R. Blair, Ransom Evans Sr., Sam Evans Sr., Nayland Blair Sr., Edward Stevens, Sue Ann Stevens, Joe Davis, Timothy Butler, Gene Holmes, Dana Jones, Peter Charles, Christy Nichols, Cardinal Robinson, Rosemary Charles, Ada Pearl, Bob Ingalls, Jack Wallace, Warren M. Finch, Warren P. Finch, Tim Ingalls, R.G. Finch, William Billingsley Jr., Jennifer Sensabaugh, Hazel Gasson, Jerry Brantley, Brian Watson Jr., Kaniko Parsons, Jason Cathy, Bradford, Thomas Bradley, also known as Uncle Buki, also known as Gypsy, Reverend Roosevelt Word I, Stacey Trice, Frank Smith, Mother Bertha, Michael Leonard, David Brown, Ruth Carter, June Cox, Ruth Cox, Paula Cox, Ronald Urban, Judy Hubbard, Irene Johnson, Francis Booth Jefferson, Dan Wilkinson Sr., Emma McClendon, Jerry Dorr, Mina Robinson, Mary Nichols, Patricia Williams, Shabaka Teray, Greg G2 Gibson, Donna Hill, Richard Cleavis, Lee Irby, Tommy Irby, Boy Irby, Jim Gaucher, George and Hallie Johnson, Archie and Morgan Armstead, Diane Scott, Erica Armstrong, Claire Fox, Gene Evans, Archie Beck, Anna McGill, Charles McDaniel, Christine Cottrell, Aunt Becca, Alice Arnold, Arthur Arnold, Hattie Reed, Charles Reed, Eula and Andrew Baker, Patricia and Edwin Brooks, Gwendolyn and Bob Hatch, Kimball Vernon, Bradley Kim, Janie Harry Tubman Case, Spencer Sturgis, Sally Mae Baker, Ethel Baker, Creola Baker, Geneva Baker, Aaron Nino Baby Hatchet Sr., Melly Miller, Housie Hatch, Dad Cleveland, Mother Gibson, Alex Nixon, John Bowie, Lester and Rachel Saunders, Dorita Ross, Viola Ross, Robert Nelson, Francis Stevenson, Leroy Stokes, Neely Johnson, Fletcher Swan, Maddie and Charlie Scott, Ida Casey, Thomas Coper, Vivian Stevenson, Mona Ann Lewis, Cornetta Lyman Lewis, John Jackson, William Dallas Lewis, Mary Francis, Chappelle Jackson, Michael Slade, Joanne Perkins, Richard Jackson, Martha Ford, Dawson, Big Mama, Nanny Harris, Eva Ford, James Harrison, Margaret Towns, Mary Williams, Leroy Q. Heap Sr., Albert Moore, Miss Vanilla, Elvis Motley, Geraldine Elizabeth, Douglas Thompson, Arlington Houston, Lud Alls, Elijah Alls, Jerome Alls, and West Staten, Joe Jamel Alls, Ann Pierce, Donald Carter, Lily Green, Nathan Green, Beth Bond, John Dewey, Ruth Beard, Tim Butler, Remy Laura Newton, J.B. Foggy, Thomas Newton Sr., Barbara Naeem, Jeanette Sanders, Jerry C. Sanders, Roy Pruitt, H.J. Brantley Sr., Jerry Brantley Sr., Henry Wilson, Rufus Jenkins, Minnie Wilson, Catherine Sanders, Muriel Ellis, Elizabeth Sanders, Henrietta Irby, Mildred Armstead, Margaret Armstead, Catherine Anthony, Ruby Brown, Charles Walker Sr., Charlie Walker, Cecil Russell, Diane Urban, Haroon Phillips, William Ford, Margaret Logan, Phyllis Barnett, Lee Urban Sr., Michael Urban, Ozella Watson, Hugo Watson, John Caldwell Sr., Robbie Lee Caldwell, Nevaeh Mitchell, Ron McCormick Sr., Sabrina Easley, Rashawn Easley, JaVale McCormick, Barbara Ann Reed, Dorothy Ann Reed, John Reed, Shekamaha Reed Jr., John Reed Jr., Patricia Reed, Edward R. Benson Sr., Ethel H. McNair, Lois Fernandez, Jacqueline Broadus, Reginald Oliver, Mazarine Colford, George Swan, Emania Grayson, Charles Scott, Charles A. Scott, Michael Morgan, Charlie Morgan, Sybil Edwards of McNabb, Annie Ferguson, William Ferguson, Shelby McClendon. Gina, can you bring me a pic? Bring me a pic. All right, for those that missed it, we are on the second page. We're moving to the Black Book. Joella Giles, James Carswell, Brother Adams, also known as our sis, Elder Shaka McDaniel, Anthony Brown, Jonathan Ford, Lottie Gaucher, Cousin Tony, Michael Johnson, James Jimmy Johnson, Barbara Shane Lewis, Ronald Sheldon Jr., Damian Top, Christina Banks, Joseph Bingham, Quincy, Mama, Aunt Lady, Abraham Isaac Cundum, Aunt Barbara Lewis, Renee Johnson. Thank you. Renee Johnson, Joy, Ryan Ross Riggins, Vermonte, Marcus Ness Words, Michelle McHale, Demetrius Beard, Herb Jefferson, Ralph Mickens, Eric Walker, Quincy Sample, Candace Simmons, Severn Clayton, Leonard Jones, Sade Garner, Melvin Scott, Elder Clarence Lumpkin, Elizabeth Johnson, Frank Smith, Stacey Trice, Denise Goray, Nathaniel Hassan Turner, Khalid is in transition, Nigel Turner, Demetrius Lewis Flint, Alberta Woods, Geneva Simmons, Daniel Tilley, Angeline Gant, Sharifa, Oscar Kane, Audrey Gripper, Dominique Nichols, Ruth Elaine Johnson, Teresa's Aunt Maxine, Aunt Uncle James, Henry Monger III, Tamara Dowdy, Nicole Harris, Julia Taylor, Richard Bozeman II, Ruth Carter, John Carter, Mr. Thornton, Johanna, Jashandra Lynette Lewis, Henderson Mosley, Charles Jordan, Henry Essex II, Fannie L. Webb, Dan Walton, Alauti Sue Walton, Emma Walton, James Randolph Giles, Sonny, Pete Walton, William Walton, Fred Powers, Elijah Juan Hakeem and Como, Alberta T. Davis, Charles Davis, Willie R. Mackey, Dr. Creamy Mackey, Victor Bowden, Priscilla Kitty Berger, Lucy White, Robert Lee White, Emma Jean White, Talton, Roger White, R.L. White, Jesse White, Ruby Jewel White, Jessica Carl White, Desi Woods, Talar Woods Lennox, Jim Woods, Lizzie Woods, Juanita Alexander Brown, Cynthia Ann Wright, Richard Dorsey, Annie Simpson, Jamara Simpson, Regina Hopkins, Joseph Simpson, Eddie Dorsey, Eleanor Hopkins, Edward Webster's, Alice Webster, Ivy Webster, Arnella Willis, Ethel Lane, Samanda Damon, Ethel Marshall, Steve Dougie Shelton, William Bill Walker, Carl Rico Johnson, Kim Gray, Stuart A. Johnson, Edward Young III, Isaac Jackson Sr., Drusilla Morrow, Wayne Young, Christina Young, Thomas Young, Frank Morrow. We raise up our glass and we salute our ancestors and we say, Ashe. Oh shit, another payment that came out. All right. So now we are in the present moment. Now this is where it's going to get confusing, family. This is where it's going to get very, very confusing. Hold on. All right. So we are on Ujamaa. Well, let me say today is Ujamaa. And today being Ujamaa, we are in the first day of Kwanzaa. Now, when we started, the day changes, and we started the day, we started right when Umoja lined up with the first day of Kwanzaa. So Umoja was Umoja when we first started doing it. So this is the 4th year. So now we're 1, 2, 3, 4. We are on Ujamaa. So this is the 4th year of Kwanzaa that we have been doing this. So every 7 years, there's a 7-year cycle. Every 7 years, we line back up with the Nguza Saba for that year. So we got another 7 years. So now, but we are on Ujamaa right now. Today is Ujamaa. Not the day of Kwanzaa. The day is Ujamaa. The day of Kwanzaa today is Umoja and Habari, Gani to all of y'all and Moja. But right now we are on Ujamaa. Family, activate the reticular formations. We need to find Ujamaa in our community. You're going to see it all over tonight. So, go, when you go out tonight, recognize Ujamaa, share it on Gye-Nyame Journey's timeline, share it on your timeline, take pictures, share your location. Those of you that's coming out to Kwanzaa, help the vendors build up so that they could go on and start doing Ujamaa, cooperative economics. So we want to see it. So take pictures of it, share it. You know what I'm saying? On the timeline, on the Kwanzaa 365 timeline, on the Gye-Nyame Journey timeline, because we're going to be streaming all day. Now, cooperative economics, for those that don't know, that's what Ujamaa means. Reciprocity is the demonic principle today. Gratitude is what we teach the young people. Green is the color. God damn. Is today Ujamaa or Ujima? I am totally confused. Is it Ujamaa or is it, huh? No. Where is my calendar? I am.
Ujamaa.
Is it Ujamaa? Nah. Because yesterday I didn't change it either. So let's pull up the handy dandy calendar. Touch screens make it. You think it's Ujamaa?
Yeah, Ujamaa.
You sure?
Yes.
Why you sure?
Because yesterday.
Because yesterday what?
Because yesterday was
Ujamaa?
Yeah.
But when I was streaming yesterday, nobody brought up the point that we had up the totally wrong day.
Especially Kwame.
Yeah, usually Kwame is up on top of that. But I'm totally mixed up on the day. So anyway, I'm gonna finish this up like it's Ujamaa because I had to drop and is it Ujamaa? Somebody just put up it's Ujamaa. Let's see. All right, Quasi Low says Ujamaa. So all right, cool. All right, so if we toasted Ujamaa today, cooperative economics, reciprocity, gratitude, the color is green, polarity is the Hermetic law. Male name for the day is Yao, female is Ya. I knew it was the wrong day, but I was like, bump it. But today I had to say something. Oh, okay. So you did all the managing yesterday. So that was your fault, producer. So here we go. I'm sorry. You the executive producer. It's real life here, Gye-Nyame Journey. All right. So we raise our glass up to the present moment, saluting the moment, trying to pull everything out of the moment that we can so that we can accomplish what we need for our future generations. We raise our glass, we say Ashe. From there, we move to our future generations. We toast our children, our children's children, on to infinity, also known as executive directors, executive producers. We raise our glass, we say Ashe. From there, family, we move on to all of our relations, and we say Ashe. From all of our relations, it's a funny ass day today. From all of our relations, we move on to that selfish toast. What is it that you need right now in your life to manifest what it is that you manifest the best you? Manifest something else, but make the best you. Last but not least, I toast the most magnificent, marvelous, and beautiful people in the world, person in the world right now, and that's you. Toast you. We say Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. All right. So lines are open. 614-556-4535. Once again, lines are open. Let me go over here so I get some points because I can't have Kwame getting all the damn points. 614-556-4535. Wow. All right. Oh, man. So, let's get the conversation popping off. We can discuss some of the stuff that you want, but if y'all want to go into depth about the principle of the day, which is, of course, once again, as far as Kwanzaa, Umoja, which we really do need to take some time to talk about. Because we got our calendar. Now, the calendar is off. I was supposed to put it in a newsletter. Didn't have the time. So, I didn't place it in this time.
This call is being recorded.
But, all right, who is on the line?
Okay, hold on. I'm about to mute for a second.
You about to who? Mute? All right, we back up. So.
Okay, yeah, I'm back. I'm sorry about that. I had the show playing in the background.
Okay, cool. What's going on?
Nothing. I wanted you, if you don't mind, you can go ahead since you mentioned it, elaborate about the principle of today for you. Are you going to do Umoja?
Yes. Because
Kwanzaa, or were you okay?
The Kwanzaa principle today is Umoja. And I think it's important that we start talking about these principles and the way we got it lined up in Gye-Nyame. So one of the first challenges I had was first off, looking at the days of the week and what they was named after. You know what I'm saying? So I had to go on and kind of scrap that whole concept and say, we need to come up with something else. And it just so happened that there's 7 principles. I said, shit, 7 principles, 7 days. So we just went and lined it up. But now, going back to Umoja. Umoja basically means unity, family. Unity. Being able to practice unity. Being able to recognize unity. Being able to utilize unity. And realizing realizing the many different forms that unity manifests itself. See, because sometimes I'm thinking that some of the perspectives that some of us have of unity aren't real. Because it's almost like some people.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean?
Sometimes when you talk, some people think unity is about everybody doing and being the same. When in fact, that is not unity. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like in order for us to get out of the situation that we in, we need to practice unity. But the way that I'm hearing people talk about unity is not healthy. It's not. We all got to be alike.
Okay, well, elaborate on the unhealthy form of unity.
All right, unhealthy form of unity. Believing that every part or every being needs to be exactly alike. It's almost like if you was into science fiction. In Star Trek, they have a group of individuals called the Borg. And the Borg was one unified body. Or basically, every part of that body was exactly the same, and it followed the basic principles. So they all looked alike, they all act alike, and they all wanted to eradicate all other life and absorb that life into them. You understand what I'm saying? So they will become Borg as well. Mm-hmm. They will look just a little bit different. Everything is the same. So it's like those that like to kick it can't be unified with those that like to study. And those that are athletic can't necessarily be united with the nerds. When in fact, unity requires difference in order for it to work. The heart and the liver are 2 totally different things, but they work to support the same body. Each one of them has their own function. Each one of them respecting what the other one do as a contribution. Well, we don't even know if they're aware of each other. We just know that both of them are working in together to make sure that they're able to maintain what it is they have. You understand what I'm saying? So I run into.
So put that into real outside. Take it out of the context that you have, and put it into situations. Can you give me an example that's not? Well, not want to say ad lib, but I want a real life situation as an example of what you just said.
All right. It's kind of hard to do that without getting personal.
Okay, so are you saying, for example, the first thing that came to mind with me is how I see, especially with the holiday season, how I see people like, well, if you celebrate Christmas or you are a Christian, then we can't be united.
We can't be united.
So that being the heart and the liver, for example.
Right.
But we can coexist in the same space it comes to the functioning of the whole.
Right. Not only function in the same space, we could help the whole grow even more. You understand what I'm saying? Because it's like, it's like if the agenda is the same, we don't have to be exactly alike, but we could want the same things.
But the agenda is the same. The agenda being the body.
The agenda being the body, keeping the body alive. You don't see the heart trying to be the liver, or the heart trying to transform the liver into a heart. Call in to 614-556-4535. Once again, 614-556-4535. 4535. Now,
well, someone asked me this question about, and this is I guess unity related. I just seen this question actually on Facebook a few days ago, and I'm gonna try to reword it as much as I can. But it was something to the effect of, should you have unity with someone because they're black?
Now,
should you have the unity? No, okay, hold on. Should you get on code? That's the word it was. Should you get on code with a person just because they're black, and even if they may be your enemy or whatever in other areas? Should you get on code though?
If now let me ask. Can I kind of expand on the code?
Ask what you want.
All right. So they're talking about getting on code. Now, what determined the code that y'all on? 614-556-4535. It's on the screen. Go ahead.
The code being, when I was said, as when it comes to bonding regarding racism, white supremacy, or fighting against that, do you just get on code just merely because you're black, though you may have beef, literal beef, and dislikes of each other? Or does that person, do you not get on
now,
code?
see,
should you not?
Can I, let me make this point real quick. That's one of the reasons why I couldn't really give a real life piece, because it involves beef, where individuals will have beef, and wouldn't, and feel they couldn't work together, and it's like when both of them are important parts of the body, especially if both of them have, in a sense, a common vision, a common code, as because people throw this whole code shit out, right? But let me just say this.
Yo.
Go ahead. What's up?
No, I just wanted to see if I was. Go ahead. I'm listening.
Nigga testing the mic. Nigga, don't test the mic on my show. The shit works.
The mic sounds nice. Check one. Okay, we got it.
But it's like.
So, but yeah,
I still got a thought though on this.
What you saying, because I think that, well, here's what, I don't care when it comes to here's how I see the system work for others. I don't say for the system of racism, white supremacy, they beef all the time. When people say they're not united. They're united. We need to unite. Like I say, they're not united. They bicker and fight with each other all the time. They have separatist groups and everything. But when it comes to the body functioning, the body being that racism, white supremacy, they don't care how much beef they got with the other person.
They're gonna keep the outsiders out. They're gonna subjugate.
Because it's about maintaining and surviving that system. Right. They'll throw their beef away. They'll throw their argument away. They'll throw their religion out the window. All of that. When it comes to maintaining that body.
But they're not. But the.
I've got a personal example.
Go ahead.
I'm hesitant to talk about it though. But I kind of got to that. I said I'm hesitant to talk about it because it's so deeply personal. But I feel like it's. I actually want to talk with you, or even talk with a few people off air to really get an idea of the animal that I'm thinking of taking on. Being like I'm dealing with the court situation to get access to my daughter, and the more it goes on, the more, even though my daughter's mom and I don't really get along, and we have a difficult time making decisions together, we are part of the same body. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that brokenness is not. It's so easy for me to get upset with her, but the more I'm thinking about it, I'm not against her. Her and I are against the court.
Well, it should be, yeah.
The court is a contingent. The court is one one facet of an effort to annihilate my genetic lineage or severely weaken it to where it's incapacitized, is that a word? Where it's ineffective at supporting itself. My genetic lineage. This is what we're talking about. Because when you go in front of a court and you talk about yourself and the impact on you, then you know what I'm saying? You don't necessarily, especially as a black person who wasn't represented in the first 12 articles of the Constitution. I was watching that Dr. Claude Anderson. He gave me some fuel. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So when I go in front of the court, and when we go in front of the court and we're fighting each other, then we're playing into their things. That shit needs to be completely dead. It's not us against each other. It's us against this system that will destroy both of us. And this is part of the process, literally.
That's a bomb example now.
Yeah, now,
but like you said, we'll be against each other instead of going united against it. Because really, it's us against that system. But I don't think people see it like that. See,
a majority of us don't, because, like, once again, this goes back to what we kind of was talking about yesterday, what we was touching on yesterday, because it's so deep and it's so big that a lot of people don't have the time to really sit back and look at it. Because the point that I'm trying to make is that unity doesn't require me and you to be alike. Unity doesn't, you know what I'm saying? You could be the heart. Once again, I could be the liver. Somebody else could be a brain or a brain cell. But we all are working to sustain the organism. And the one thing that we are in the process now is identifying the organism that we're going to become. Now, one of the things that I'm very wary of is motherfuckers throwing up this whole code shit. Or they say code, you're not on code, when we have not established what the code is. You understand what I'm saying? Because what happens is, because I've seen this happen in other stuff, where there's this agreed upon idea, and it's not really in stone, when all of a sudden it could start shifting to advantage one individual above the other, because it wasn't real in the first place. So I could be like, Sister Navita, you're not on code, baby. You're not on code. You know what I'm saying? When I hear on code, I think when I hear on code, I think of that this is an issue that is against this system. Now, I don't have to get on code with you. When on code doesn't, in my mind, does not mean I have to worship your God. I have to practice your 10 Commandments, your principles of my whatever. That's not getting on code to me. On code to me, which I think is when it's something that has to do with this system that will affect us, and is running this as a whole, that system, then we need to get on code.
I think that what you said is true, but I think there's also a hidden clause in there that has to be dealt with, because I think that religious spiritual system is part of the larger system that you was talking about. You know what I mean? Because I think a part of the code has to be that if you're not being honest with yourself, then you can't be honest with the collective.
But I don't
think, Malcolm X was a phenomenal dude, and I would work next to Brother Malcolm if he's fighting for the greater good of that, against that system. I don't care if he believes in Allah and Islam. I don't care, but if his fight is with me against that system, then we can do that. But some religion will cripple people from even fighting against that system.
That's just religion.
I think,
it's jobs.
So it's against the religion, right? But that's why I say when you're getting on code, you're supposed to drop all that.
See, but this the point.
Get on code.
It's getting back to the point.
Some people's religion won't even allow them to do it.
How can I put it?
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I think it's like some fine. It definitely takes some fine tuning. You know what I mean? Like there's some finer points, and
it takes clarity.
It is a hell of a time. There's so much nuance.
And that's what I'm having a problem with. You see what I'm saying? Because it's like, where was the code defined? You understand what I'm saying? Which means that whoever is in authority or whoever is popular can set the code. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like, so when I'm talking about unity, like this is why I keep on talking about laying borders. Because then within your borders, you're able to be clear on what is to be done and what is not to be done. And when you operate outside that, what you are doing is saying, hey, I'm over here. I'm over here. You understand what I'm saying? And it's like, but when we go on a national piece, because I think a lot of people that screaming the code shit is screaming it from a national piece, and oftentimes it's towards their benefit. Now, because it's like this. Does unity means that we wouldn't, that there would be no disagreement? Does unity mean that there would be no chaos? Would unity mean that there would be no disagreement, no chaos?
Of course not.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I think unity is a something that you put in place to deal with inevitable chaos. Or it's something I don't even necessarily say you want to put in place. It's something that people seek, something that people establish. Chaos is inevitable. It's a part of life. You know what I'm saying? And you have to figure out ways to deal with it. Like humans are a very vulnerable species compared to a lion. You know what I mean? The human's best weapon is each other. Like against nature, to deal with nature. Like we've gotten so far away from realizing that this is humanity's way of dealing with nature. All these buildings and shit, this is nature. You know what I'm saying? This is our interaction with nature at this point in time, but it's always how we're managing the chaos of nature. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm.
Managing the chaos. I think Sister Navita dropped off. Who dropped off? Sister? Yeah, that was Sister Navita that dropped off. But because my whole piece, how can I put it? Before there's a national idea of unity, there needs to be a local, tribal, family idea of unity. You understand what I'm saying? So I think unity is something that starts from the smaller levels and moves up to the larger levels.
Sure.
You understand what I'm saying? Because what I'm seeing and what I'm working with and what I'm battling is certain things that I'm not going to totally agree with everybody, and it's certain things that you're not going to totally agree with everybody. But there has to be an idea that we can agree on that will enable both of us to move forward with an agenda. You know what I'm saying? To hold the quote unquote code. If there's no code on the local level, there can be no code on the national level. And right now, what it is, I think people are muddying up the whole argument, the whole aim of the argument, the whole discussion by throwing out random terms that has to be wrestled within each community. What is the code in Columbus? You know what I'm saying? What is the code for Gye-Nyame? What is the code in Tawi? You know, those people that are intimately involved in those organizations have an understanding of what to do and what not to do. And one of the major pieces...
And I would even...
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I would venture to say it starts even before that. Like the code, what's my personal code? Because I can't bond with a group of people that if we don't all have our own standards that we can agree on.
We don't, now see, but that's...
You know what I mean?
But that is, how can I put it? That may be part of the issue. Because where do individuals get their personal code? Or where are they from? You don't just get up and walk into some shit like that. That's some shit that's supposed to be passed on to you. That's some shit that's supposed to be taught to you.
True. So it's a both and. It's almost like, okay, it's like what can I don't know if that's a good example. I'm not even going to say that, but it's something that happens at the same time. You know what I mean? Discussions with individuals, but then I guess that goes to another thing. Like leadership is something. I think leadership is a constant. Leadership is necessary.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
You're always going to have certain individuals that have more foresight than the collective,
and then you also gonna have those that are more action oriented.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Ooh, somebody's back in the past. Come on up, turn the radio off, and come on up and line up with us.
I already turned it off. You late?
Get on code, Sister Navita. You're not on code, sister. You're not on code.
I wasn't on code, but this, I'm gonna reference Dr. Neely Fuller Jr.'s book. The Compensatory Code. It's a long title, but I'm sure we all are familiar with that book. And people listening to Dr. Neely Fuller, he talks about racism and white supremacy, and points out the areas in which those are affected. There's 9 areas of activity that he speaks of. So when I say on code, I guess maybe I shouldn't think that it's a common sense thing, because I'm thinking it's a common sense thing when I say we need to get on code. It's anything that is perpetuating. If you say this is happening here, is this something that is going to affect us as a people, and is it promoting, like, for example, police brutality? We know that that's something that if there's somebody who stands up against that, we need to get on code and support that. I don't think I have to be, told that, so that's something I should get on code with. I think, okay, you know what? Is that something that's against us as a people, and a larger will affect us as a large affects the body? Yes, it does. Even though maybe happening to one at the time, it affects the body. And that's how I know that's something I need to get on code with.
But you got to believe that you're part of that body, though, right?
Yeah, but I'm talking about for those who do believe they're part of that body, you need to get on code. Now, there are people who don't believe that, but, so be it. I mean, what you gonna do? They don't believe that. They don't even see themselves as part of the body. You got your Jesse Lee Petersons and others, or people
that's
who just
the dude I was talking
feel that they can.
Where was you yesterday? That's the guy I was talking about yesterday. Jesse Lee Peterson. That's the one. I was trying to think of his name yesterday, and nobody could tell me what his name was. Jesse Lee Peterson. He talked like this.
I know.
Sister Navita. What do you have faith in?
Black people are actually discriminating against white people. It's actually turned around. We are now become the racists against white. Okay, dude.
But now, another part of unity that I don't think a lot of us really. I mean, and this is crazy. And I know people. Do you know part of unity? Because I constantly go back to this border shit. Is being able to establish borders, establish consequences.
What kind of borders are you talking? Give me an example of a border that needs to be established.
Here's a border. We don't tolerate people that rape women. Border. See, because when I'm talking about borders, some people think that I'm just talking about the physical. Yes, we do have to be able to define that. See, because really that's where it all starts. You know what I'm saying? It's certain things that we do. It's certain things that we don't do. It's certain things that we allow. It's certain things that we don't allow. And there's clear consequences for that. And nowhere have we been able, might take that back, in very few places in America have we actually been able to establish that.
Can I sweep upstairs?
I don't care. Very few places we've been able to establish. Because when you talk about, because like with a unified group, with a truly unified group, you can't just walk up in there and be like, because you look like me, I'm part of y'all. You understand what I'm saying? Or am I off?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because to me, that's the epitome of disunity. When anybody could walk up in your shit and become part. What is the process for even entering into this thing where you'll be able to recognize the code, recognize the rules, recognize what you're supposed to do and not supposed to do? You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, I think one of the things that's why like crisis situations bring people together for generations. Like when people are responding to true crisis, because then the primary code becomes let's survive. If let's survive is the primary code, then you can build from there. You know what I'm saying? Like
because you got to see what a person's made out of.
It's like the code that you know what I mean? Right. Like if we understand that if we don't work together, then none of us are going to survive. Then that's the basis for the code. But we have options. Like we could probably do something together, but I got a job. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like it's hard to navigate that.
You don't lose nothing. So why should I unify with you? There's no reason for unity, and maybe this is what unity has to be. It's kind of sparked by what you said. It's something that has to be needed. I think one of the reasons that it's so hard for us to kind of unify here is because, first off, we got a utopian view of what this shit look like. Second off, because we are, in a sense, the cattle of the United States and shit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we're domesticated. It's like we. Let me shut up. Somebody else call in because my mind is zooming off now. I'm serious. It's almost like we're so domesticated and so comfortable. It's sort of like being that pet that does not even realize that the owner is about to kill your ass. You're just so loyal to this owner, you can't realize that you need to run off and get with your own kind. But even the rest of your own kind, they can't accept you because they're so caught in the goddamn illusion. We're like a pet in America that don't know shit. We don't even realize. A lot of us don't even realize what's going on around us, so we don't realize we need unity. You know, because human beings, like dogs, at one point in time, we ran in packs. Why? Because packs made it easier for us to survive and even in some cases move towards being able to actually live. But in order for that to be maintained, you had to be able to protect it. But first you had to recognize what it was. And it was the group. Mm-hmm. The it was the group. And as the group grew, you know what I'm saying, the it got bigger. But we didn't allow the it to be removed from us and it's external now. So we're working towards somebody else's it rather than our it. Like my dog used to work for my it rather than his own it. You know what I'm saying? I remember the police broke up into the house and rather than my dog running for his life, you know what I'm saying, my dog ran at the goddamn police. I had to jump in front of him to stop, you know, I had to, you know what I'm saying? Don't shoot my...
You did not jump in front of the dog.
Oh,
that's mighty white of you.
Oh, no, that wasn't mighty white. Let me say that. No, let me be honest with you. Out of all the situations that I have been in, why I have my dog, right? My dog was possibly the most loyal thing to me in the house. To me and my children, my dog was the most loyal and the most protective thing that I had. Was ready to love or to kill to protect my household. The police had arrested one of my little brothers who was, a loving asshole, but he did some shit he wasn't supposed to do. Ran all the way up to the house, got the door open, and the police caught him and tackled him, and he fell in the house. My dog didn't retreat. My dog saw what he thought was his brother laying on the floor with 3 white men on top of him, and his ass went to war. Along with the rest of my dudes. But the point I'm saying is, my dog was protecting my it. It wasn't protecting it. It went into, matter of fact, it did something that I hear us talk about all the time. It got on cold. My dog got on cold because his it was being attacked. The thing that was bigger than him. Unity is about us realizing that there's something bigger than us and striving to protect that with whatever it takes, striving to build up on it. I'm sorry, go ahead.
The same thing that applies to us, applies to Power, because you know what I'm saying? Power knew that he was getting fed, like everything that he needed. Like, imagine if you weren't feeding Power. You know what I mean?
Right.
It might not have been that same dynamic.
It might not have been that same dynamic. So the question is, in order for us to get unity, is our it taking care of us? Or is somebody else's it taking care of us? Are we living under our own roof, or are we living under somebody else's roof and they're providing everything for us? So it's hard for us to unify because all of us are receiving sustenance from something else. I'm quite sure Power had dog conversations.
I mean, that's true. But I always think of the Montgomery bus boycott. They had to make sacrifices, of course, that I think we are so comfortable now that those sacrifices may be harder for people to make. But with the Montgomery bus boycott, we were, that was during Jim Crow.
Right. Now,
and they stuck together.
Why?
Which I know there were more with Jim Crow, but there was only one bus system.
It was only
there
one.
was no alternative black bus to take.
Right.
But people band together and made sure each other got where they needed to be.
Because they were working for something that was bigger than themselves. They was working for that.
Right, and that system that you're talking about, well, how we don't have this and we don't have that same system existed then.
You said what?
And they were able to. That same system existed during the Montgomery bus boycott that you're talking about.
But the system was more.
I think you said something about.
The system was more honest with them back then. Can you hear me? Hello?
The system was more honest with them?
Yes. The system was more honest with them because in Jim Crow, they had, because really, even when it was coming out, they was coming out of their communities. They were paying taxes in their communities. They wasn't living mixed up like we are right now. So they had it.
I was watching that Carl Anderson. I was watching an interview with Carl Anderson the other day, and it was pretty deep. He said something about the boycott. Hold on, my God. He said something about the bus boycott that I had never considered. They was fighting to be able to ride the white man's bus instead of fighting to get their own buses. Like, we just want to be able to have a seat on your bus instead of let's get our own bus. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like, that's the whole separate. I had never thought about that, like, because that's what Charlamagne said. If you ain't seen that, man, I gotta check it out. Like, I think you had reposted it, Nazita.
I posted it up too.
He was saying,
yeah, I posted it because I wanted to come back and listen to it because I seen it come down my timeline. I was like, I got to come back and listen to it.
It was real. It was timely. It was good, right on time.
And that's true too. It's a whole separate thing of, outside of the unity part, as far as the bus boycott piece, is the piece where, like Dr. Claude said, like Quasi was saying, same thing with the NFL. Why are we fighting to be a part of that when we just can't have our own, but we can? But will we unify to support that?
And what does unity look like? What does that mean for us to unify? You know what I'm saying? I mean, because like I said, I don't know why they decided to fight to get on that bus. Because actually, I'm gonna even check. Was it a
Well, I think they fought it because at the time that was the only bus, and
that was the only bus.
I don't know if
was it
like
financed by taxes?
Said they should have band together and started their own bus, but I don't even know if did they have the ability to do that.
See, but does anybody have anybody have the ability to do that? I'm a carpenter. I don't know shit about
they would have
buses.
been locked out of resources.
You said who?
I don't know.
Oh, we know. We know certain resources they were locked out of. We know this because we're locked out of certain resources. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because what he says makes sense, but then again, when you look at the landscape of where we are, was that really possible? Because Charlemagne also asked him another question too, Quasi, that you might have jumped right over, bruh. He said, well, since y'all had all y'all buses in your town, did y'all think about taking some of y'all buses down there? What was his answer?
I don't know. I gotta watch it.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, because there was black bus companies in other cities. Why not you know what I'm saying?
Raleigh, North Carolina.
Right. Why didn't you take it?
But that's another part, because he said in Raleigh, North Carolina, they had two bus systems. I think he said two. They had at least one. He said one, but they had two black ones and they had two white ones. He said once that came out, the people, instead of saying, like once the boycott happened, they was like, oh, I want to sit on the front of the white bus.
Yeah, that's their programming.
It's a mindset thing.
Yeah, we was like the dog on the chain that was kept outside for a long time, and finally somebody opened the door and allowed us to sit inside the house. A lot of us decided that we would prefer to be inside the house rather than to be outside with our little dog house and suffer out there in the cold and shit like that. Because, I mean, the unity, the thing that holds us together has to be as strong. And has to be as strong as what is out there to pull us to it. We have been taught to devalue or to look at ourselves with such a low level of value and look at what we have with so little respect that we would gladly get it up to go get somebody else's shit. It's part of the programming. So how do we counter that? Because we started off the conversation where I was talking about, I think we got a misperception of unity, because a major part of unity is not only being able to allow in, but also to kick out and to keep out. You can't have a healthy organism that allows foreign objects to just come in at will, even as though because y'all do understand the power of AIDS, right? You know what AIDS do? Viruses get into a body. Yeah, viruses. Let's not even just say AIDS. Let's say viruses disguise themselves so that they look like everything else around them, and the immune system don't know how to deal with them. Because it looked like us. That's how a virus gets in and destroys the entire body. I don't know if unity means coming together as one. But we have to be able to accept where we are and where everybody else is that's coming. Because one of the things that I start seeing that happen is that we get very, even in the conscious community, we get very churchy and judgmental.
Sorry.
and get very judgmental about others and their choices. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I mean, and it's like, boom, how do you build unity on that when you're in a sense looking down on somebody? But then on the same token, it has to come a point in time where you are able to defend what you have. I mean, because some people just don't deserve to even be in some conversations. But you can't tell people that no more because that's politically incorrect. It's almost like...
So what would be something that would constitute a person not being able to be involved in the conversation? Give me an example of that.
I'm gonna give you a roundabout answer because we both been involved with this. Matter of fact, when you're trying to talk to, and excuse my elders out there that might be, when you're trying to talk to a boomer about the conditions that many of us are facing right now in this reality, when a motherfucker is talking from 30 years ago about all the opportunities was there as if they're talking about what's going on right now. It's like me in my ignorance trying to argue with Kwame about zero. I'm just fucking around with Kwame because that's Kwame's forte. I am not qualified to be in that discussion. You understand?
All right.
You know, it's like motherfuckers trying to tell me about myths and shit when they never read one. Matter of fact, you've been living your life according to a myth, and you just now realize that it's a myth. So now all of a sudden you want to be the expert at what I do. It's certain shit that some people just don't need to be in the conversation. This is why one of the issues that we have, even in the conscious community, and I don't understand, we know that part of being able to even be part of most conversations that have to do with us doing some serious nation building have to be set. People at the table have to be initiated. We have always had our societies like that. Always. Motherfucker.
So you're saying the people who don't deserve to have a voice,
they're not initiated. We're having conversations about shit with people who many of them have not sacrificed shit for the shit that they're talking about. We're giving people positions of generalship when they are actually a goddamn corporal. Corporals do not discuss with generals. We are not all the same. That's one of the fallacies of the whole unity idea that we have. We're not all the same. We're not.
Okay.
Some of us are brain cells, some of us are ass cells. We just need to be honest about that shit. Get in where we fit in. But no, everybody want to be the brain cell because they believe the brain cell is more important than the ass cell. But the brain can't function if the body can't shit.
Okay, true.
I'm just saying.
So you're saying that some people should not be able to have a voice?
I do. I believe.
Situations?
It's hell yeah. Navita, if you're going to war, why are you going to allow the coward in the room to lead the conversation? Navita, if we're dealing with politics, why are you going to let the person that has never had any involvement with politics, nor believe in politics, lead the discussion? When we talking about economics.
So what about if a person is having a discussion about an individual that you may support?
All right, so are you having a personal conversation, or are you having a discussion that's going to have ramifications on the collective? And I ain't talking about nationwide. I'm talking about here in Columbus. in our collective? Are you having a personal conversation with this individual, or is this individual addressing the group?
Addressing the group.
All right.
Addressing the group.
About what?
So, okay, let me just say this. I'm going to put this out here.
There you go. Put it out.
And I'm just going to put it out. So, say we're going to bring, let me think of somebody to do, they have Umar Johnson. Who knows? Okay. And hypothetically speaking, of course, if we bring him and then we say that he has a very good message to bring, whether it be Umar or it be Tariq or whomever, I don't know, just say we have somebody, Rizza, and we say, this is what their expertise is. This is part of that on-code unity thing. Where's the line drawn? So we put this Umar thing out there. We're like, okay, cool. And then someone's like, well,
Umar's a hustler.
he this, that, and the third.
Umar's
and they
a
have
hustler.
not put in any.
Right.
Say what?
No, I'm just saying something to shit because this is a real life event you're talking about here, because I think we went through this. Umar's a hustler.
So this is where I'm trying to, okay, this is a real life event. So, with that being said, and people have heard and said different things about Umar, and, but he's done, so who doesn't have a voice in on that conversation on whether they feel like he, the person, if someone says, well, I don't think y'all should do it because of A, B, C, and D, but then when you check out this person's background, you don't never hear anything else, or if you don't see any productivity from them or anything, they only pipe in when it's something they don't like.
Right.
Do you actually
are they part of your collective?
Is there opinion? Do you validate that what they say, or do you ignore and keep it moving?
Listen,
that's my question.
Now let me walk you through for me, because I was there with you when you start getting that shit. Right. First question for me was, who are you? What have you done? Then I have to go and refer. Boom. All right. Cool. Who your elders? Do you even deserve to be in this conversation? Because what you did was basically put out a community call to see who would be interested. All you had to do was say, no, you're not interested, and keep it pushing. My question is, if you have not been doing the work, been sitting at the table, what gives you the right to have a strong opinion? My whole, I don't even argue with niggas like that. I only have time. I did 1 or 2 lines, and then I dropped off the timeline with the conversation with this individual, because basically what's going to happen is they're going to convince you, or try to convince you, that everybody's the same, and my opinion is just as important as yours, when that don't work nowhere else but in our community. And that's part of why we can't have unity, because in unity, one of the things that's there is some form of leadership, some form of guidance. Everybody has an opinion here. How you gonna have unity with that? I got an ass sale.
You mean to tell me that everybody's opinion shouldn't? Ain't the right
you
thing
already
to do
know this.
And hear every.
You already know.
Okay, I see where that can end up being not productive, is to sit there and go over everybody's opinion.
Yes. How you win a war like that? How we win anything like that? Is that really unity? Is that unity, or is that cowardice?
Or confusion?
Ain't even confusion. Confusion is nobody know what to do. Nobody willing to take action. What that is a lack of leadership, and a lack of an individual or a group willing to take responsibility for their decisions. You can't have unity if there's no honor, loyalty, and sacrifice. When I make a decision, Even in Gye-Nyame, when I make a decision, there's a consequence to those decisions. You understand what I'm saying? I have to be willing to deal with those consequences, so I hope that my shit be working. If not, then I gotta defer to somebody else, and I defer to somebody.
So you have to know your place in unity.
Exactly.
So you're going to be, and you have to know your place in unity then.
And respect your place.
Know your place in unity.
Exactly, because I know that if I do what the fuck I do well, I will always be able to be successful and bring something home for the family.
And then sometimes your place may be shut the fuck up.
Oh, man.
Sometimes may be your place.
Oh, man. But no, you can't tell people.
Which is an important place.
You know,
right?
It's a very important place. Being willing to help the collective move forward, even though you might not even agree. We have this same type of. You have this
into question the whole consensus thing, but I'm not going to go into that. So today is unity.
But it's important that you go into that because that's one of the main cruxes that was, in a sense, hold me where I was, because I don't believe in that. I don't believe in consensus in many situations. Because I've been in situations where I've seen people that do not want to make decisions, that do not want to take leadership, that want everybody to agree on some bullshit to move forward on, so that when the shit goes wrong, who was responsible for this? I don't mind in situations that I know, I don't mind standing up saying it was me. I made that motherfucking decision. That's my dude. That's my sister. I take full responsibility for what the fuck they did, because they did what I told them to do. You can't have unity if there's no accountability. If everybody is looking, it's almost like, I mean, you know, it could be a possibility that we might have ended up in this. Let me shut up.
What?
Nah, because it's a possibility that many of us could have ended up in the situation that we're living in right now because motherfuckers couldn't come to a consensus.
Okay.
I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I want to take the hit on this decision. So, do everybody in the room agree? Should we let them live? Well, we took a consensus. We took 3 months to figure out the decision. Come on now. Where does that work? Is that even Mayat? Where's Mayat's consensus? Hell, even with Tahuti, where's the consensus? You either balance out the scale or decisions. And then I also asked a question one time, they say if your heart is heavier than a feather, you are thrown out. I said, well, what happens if the feather is heavier than your heart? Do you get thrown out too? That's a whole nother question. Kwame, I throw that one out to you since I yielded to you on the zero shit. I don't mean you correct, but that means, see, belief is a different thing. I got a different belief. But anyway, mathematically, that shit, I defer to him every time. When it comes to having arguments and shit like that, I defer to him every time. Why? Because he's not going to approach an argument like I'm going to approach an argument. You already know how I get. So I get super excited, and I don't know how I'm going to react. I don't know what I'm going to say. Kwame will listen to some shit and sit down and digest it and break it down and look at the logic of it and make a certain decision and handle it and put out a solution. I stay in my goddamn lane. That's where I'm king at. I'm king in my lane.
Right.
But everybody don't have their lane, or the lane has not been assigned, so you can't have unity because you got You got chaos because everybody has input and no work. So the body is lying here seizing because the heart is not beating. The stomach is not digesting. The lungs are not taking in air. Because everybody is concerned about what everybody else is doing. Rather than doing what you're supposed to do to make the whole work. So back to your question, the nigga that made the comment about Umar Johnson, once again, I ask you, what is his level in your tribe?
Okay. I get what you're saying.
In Kemet, Kwame could correct me if I'm wrong. How can I put it? If you became a priest, there was a strict process that you went through. If you were a scribe, there was a strict process that you went through. But we need
to scribe.
There's a process you went through to even hold the pen in some of the situations that you hold the pen. Strangers just don't walk up and become, and they shouldn't be able to just walk in and become a scribe. You have put years and years into where you are to be where you are today with us. Same thing with Kwesi. I know where to send Kwesi. I know where not to send Kwesi. Kwesi know what to ask me for. Kwesi know what not to ask me for. Where does that come from? That come from us having something that's bigger than both of us. That unites us. Same with you. But a lot of times we're listening to people who don't have an anything to unify around. Unity is not a thing on its own. Unity is in a sense an action towards something. Many people have not even decided that look like us that our people are even worth, even have the value to rally around and rally for. But thank God I believe in the stubborn minority because the stubborn minority always wins. And I'm part of the stubborn minority. I know my place. And I try to maintain it. Sometimes I get out of it. But then, like I said, I got people around me that knows how to check me. And I got people, and all the people around me, I know how to check them. I think you kind of stepping into my lane, motherfucker. And I run a motherfucker over, whether I love you or not. Matter of fact, if I love you, I'm gonna run you over harder, rather than a motherfucker that don't know. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I just have actually a question real quick that I'm gonna pivot a little bit. I want to make sure that I got the schedule for Kwanzaa. I want to know what to expect from Kwanzaa. I want to know what I'm going to. Who's going to be leading? Those nights and things like that. Is that something to talk about off there?
No, I mean, actually,
or what? When you going to be? Which night are you hosting?
I'm hosting the 29th. So we are on Umoja, Kuji Chakalia. Today is 26, 27, 28, 29. So I will be hosting Ujamaa.
Okay.
But you already. Kwesi, let me ask you a question. Family out there, listen. Kwesi.
What are you doing?
What chance?
Yeah, I'm listening.
What chance do you have of getting a schedule from me about anything?
No, I want to go. What he said, getting a schedule from you?
Whenever I don't do schedules. I would assume my family know you just throw me up and let me go and slide me slips of paper Because that's how I roll.
Well, Hatem, tonight, Quasi, Hatem will also be being presented to the community as a nation builder, as being initiated into Tawi as a nation builder. So he'll be on stage and he'll be.
Oh, that's tonight?
Yeah, that's tonight.
I mean, I was in there anyway, but I'm in there with, okay.
So, and hopefully my girls will be out there drumming. Hopefully my girls will be there drumming. But hey, I gotta go because I got an appointment at the barbershop. I need to go on and get trimmed up and slimmed up for the night. And also I got to be over at the site to help at 3. So I got to get back here and get Cleve. I still got to stop over at my job because I got to put in about a couple of hours on working on some stuff over there. But family, it's been an excellent conversation with y'all. I love each and every one of you, especially the two that's on the line. You know what I'm saying? I got a Kwabena and a Kwesi. I got an Abina, which is Kuji Chagalia, and a Kwesi, which is an Imani, up on the line with me. I'm kind of hurt that all of the days of the week are not represented. We got another caller. Who's calling in to try to stop Brother Hatem from getting a haircut because y'all just don't want me to be fly? Who is that?
Well, since you called a brother out, I just thought I'd respond. Now,
we got a Kwame.
Part of what's missing.
Go ahead.
Part of what's missing in the analysis of Ma'at, and even though people know it, they always forget. The scales in theory, never balance. Never balance. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Elaborate on that now.
Imagine a pendulum.
I knew he was going to the pendulum. Go ahead. He cold.
Right. A pendulum is a form of ma'at.
Right. It don't stop.
A pendulum is always seeking the lowest point. But when you observe a pendulum in its most minute motion, it never stops. And again, I remind us that the earth spins on its axis. Every 24 hours, it makes one complete one complete rotation. Even as it's rotating, it's going around the sun. Every 365 days, it makes one complete revolution. Now, what is there that can maintain a sense of complete and total? Let me say, there's nothing that can maintain motionlessness with all that movement. Because even within the movements I've mentioned, the sun is rotating around the Milky Way. The Milky Way is rotating around its supercluster. The supercluster is rotating around yet other clusters. This universe is in complete motion. And anything that you might refer to as a balance will never have that complete and total balance. To your perceptible eye, you may think that it has stopped moving, but the truth of the matter is that nothing stops moving like that. Nothing. And so, going back to Hatem's question, and again, this is the idea of paradox, and this is why you find the really deep thought within the paradoxes. When you ask, what happens when the feather is heavier than the heart? Because
the feather is heavier, when the feather is heavier than the heart.
Right. And again, the idea, when you understand and find all the different symbols of what we call ma'at, all of those symbols will always be in motion. When you talk about the paradox of zero, I entertain Hatim's thought because there's a paradox there. It's not that he's wrong. It's that if you try to operate without zero, then you'll run into a kind of hell because, for example, if you say that zero is not a number, then the kind of craziness you run into is things like this. Okay, zero is not a number, right? Mm-hmm. So if you owe me $2 and you pay me $2, I tell you, bruh, you still owe me $2. You follow that understanding?
Yeah.
Because zero is not a number, so we can't say when you paid me the $2 you owe me, we can't say we're even because zero is not a number. So you still owe me.
Right. Okay.
That's that mafia. That's that mafia logic. Okay, go ahead.
No, but you get into all kinds of things like this, and even the idea of zero divided by zero. Even though, in our youngest understanding of mathematics, they'll say it's undefined. When you start to explore why it's undefined, it leads to things like calculus. And so by exploring these deeper understandings of what exactly does this mean to say that this one can't divide by zero, and raising zero to the power of zero, and what the hell does that actually mean? And so the idea again is to, when we come across these paradoxical ideas, and that's really what I think our ancestors were trying to tell us when they say explore the both and understanding. Explore the both and understanding. Because when you start to explore the both and understanding, you will find that when you start to speak, you have to contextualize what you're saying. If you do not contextualize it, then anything goes. And that's all I'll say for now.
Okay.
So Black
One more
Yoda.
time,
Hold on, what?
back to work.
Yeah,
I got to get back to work.
Who's that? No. Who's that? Kwesi or Kwame?
That was Kwame.
Oh, okay. I gotta go. I gotta get over to this barbershop so I could be looking good tonight.
All right. Well, peace and love. I talked to Elder Mutafe, and he'll be there this evening too. So, all right. I'll probably have to call you anyway. But all right.
Peace.
As Mutafe say, peace and hair grease.